Hey everybody, Brian Zane here. I'm joined by Jay Biggs, and we just finished recording our latest episode of the podcast, This Week in Wregret, dropping.
Well, more so like I'm joined by you, actually, because you're here at my radio station.
That's true. We're in Jay's house this time at the radio station because my house, there was a planned power outage in the neighborhood, so we couldn't do a podcast there. So we had to make do with what we had. But Jay, we are here now to talk about Survivor Series happening this weekend. It's a show that, WWE couldn't have cared less about building, but you know what? We're here and we're going to cover it, and we're going to try and talk about this show anyway. The coverage they don't deserve.
Guaranteeingly, we care more about Survivor Series than WWE does.
It sure seems that way. Let's talk about the Tag Team Champions exhibition. You're going to have RK Bro versus USO. The Usos and RK Bro going to battle against each other. Jay, what do you think about this matchup on paper?
It should be okay. I mean, does it matter to me? No, I don't give a crap about it. I really don't. I can't
be a
think of
recurring
anything
theme
I
in
give
this
a
video.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. That's pretty much where we're at.
That's the problem with these champion versus champion things is you could theoretically have time to build these things and make it work, but I don't think they've really covered much stuff between the tag team champions. All the Usos business has been locked up with Big E and stuff.
Well, until Monday.
Yeah.
They brought him into the
better late than never.
Right, boy, because it was last minute for sure.
But I mean, it's going to be a great match. The Usos, they're pretty much good with everybody, and Randy Orton, when he is properly motivated, can put on some of the best matches of the night. And I think he and Riddle have a growing chemistry as well. So should be a fun match. I guess we can decide who wins this thing. I know you don't care, but can you guess or pick who's going to win this one?
I'm going to go with the RK Bros.
Okay, I'm going to say the Usos are going to be the ones who win this one. So, wow, this is revolutionary. It usually takes a lot longer for us to disagree on a pick in one of these things, if we disagree at all. But hey, starting things off hot. Damian Priest, the U.S. champion, taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, the Intercontinental champion. And of course, we're assuming old Boogles, Rick Boogs, is going to be there in his corner. This should be a good match, too. I mean, honestly, I don't think any of these matches on the show are going to be bad, or they're not bad on paper. But it's the lack of care, it's the lack of build that goes into it. But I think Damian Priest he's really shown this year. It's been a great year for Priest, I'd have to say. He kind of was in that long feud with Sheamus for a while. He did this up with Bad Bunny, which I think turned out better than anyone could have guessed.
Right.
And now he's the U.S. champion. I think it's kind of a nice cherry on top of his very successful year. He made it at NXT at the exact right time. Let's put it that way.
And I think me and you have even speculated as far as NXT call-ups, he's been the best one so far that they've handled the best. In a long time. Anyways,
right. As far as this year's call-ups and stuff, I'd say he's head and shoulders above other people from NXT around this time.
Which I'm glad for.
I mean, it doesn't take much to do better than Karrion Kross, but that's where we're at.
Which is horrible because it's not his fault.
No, it's
not Karrion's at all.
No.
But that being said, too, I did, when I first, we were speculating about this match happening, I said to myself, geez, they've got Shinsuke with Booger over on SmackDown. I'm sorry, I don't like
Booger Rick.
I just don't like the gimmick. Anyway, so you've got Rick Boogs and him feuding against Humberto and Angel, the Los Jose Lotharios.
Los Lotharios, yeah.
And anyway, that being said, it makes no sense that they didn't take the belt off Shinsuke and maybe put it on a heel. Prior to this or something. It just seems like it would have been a more intriguing match, but they should have a good match.
That's something worth pointing out, is that it's going to be face versus face, which I didn't think about until you brought that up. So that would also change the dynamic of things. At least with RK Bro and Usos, it's more clearly defined. Usos are heels and RK Bro is face. So, it should be a really interesting matchup here. I think that my pick to win is Damian. I think he's going to win this thing in the end. I think
they've kept him looking stronger, I'd say. So, I would like to see Damian get the victory, if anybody, but I honestly, personally think this is going to be like a schmoz finish. I think there's going to be a bunch of people from both sides.
We could have those. I mean, we never really take into account the possibility of DQs because they kind of happen pretty rarely on pay-per-view at least. So that's nice, I guess, but that's a possibility as well. So you think it's going to end inconclusively is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Let's move on to the traditional Survivor Series matches, the 5-on-5s, Raw versus SmackDown. As far as who's in these things, who the hell knows?
Nobody.
It could change between now and when we're done recording. It could change between when we're done recording and when the video goes up. It's just, there's no point in trying to
Adam Pearce will realize he has someone that's not a champion in one of the rosters or something.
Adam Pearce will have woken up from his bender and he'll realize that something's amiss. As of press time, as the time we're recording this video right now, I can tell you Team Raw is Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley. And Team SmackDown is Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, Jeff Hardy, Happy Corbin, and one spot to be announced, hopefully this week on SmackDown. And the reason it's just so hard to care about this because they announced the team members on a random Saturday on social media with no build or no qualifiers to it or anything like that. And then they spent the next week just drastically
destroying
changing both those teams. So what was even the point of announcing it if you're going to change everything anyway?
What was it? On top of that, what was the point of announcing your Survivor Series basic main event almost between the brand supremacy on a Saturday morning on Twitter in the first place?
It's a weird time to do it, and it seems, especially the whole idea that they built it up there and then they're tearing it all down. It really makes no sense. And also, there's so many problems with this. The fact that, like, hey, this is supposed to be a match for brand supremacy, but everyone on, like, this team was on the other show before the draft. Like, they just moved over. Hey, you're repping this team now. This is one of the many reasons you say maybe wait until after Survivor Series to do a draft, because if you're going to have people give a shit about brand supremacy, have them be in the brand long enough to give a shit about repping the brand. I just don't understand that. And also the rules have changed for Adam Pearce, where he's like, no, this team's got to have all former world champions. But that's why Dominic Mysterio's out. Oh, but Austin Theory, you come on here and join this group. Like, what?
Obviously, he's a heel. But if you're
going to be a heel, be a smart heel, be a consistent heel. Whatever Pearce is doing now, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And you hate to see it. But yeah, as far as like who's going to win the men's match, I mean, this is one where I would think it ends inconclusively, because who really gives a shit? But if I had to pick one, I would probably say, you know what? I'm going to say Team Raw wins. That's my pick.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with SmackDown.
Okay, man, we're
on
fire today. We're going to have very different results and tallies by the end of this.
I'm really hoping that this man that's unannounced is a game changer.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of which, who could the fifth person be?
Right.
Who do you think so? Like, who's left? Kofi, I guess.
No.
Put him on the
No, because he's injured.
Is he? Oh,
I think so, yeah. I think he's injured. That's why he wasn't there. Good question, actually. Who could they put in that? I think it's...
Put Madcap Moss with Corbin. Put a team in there.
Still, Madcap Moss. I mean, that's as dumb as Austin Theory on the other side. But you know what it does? Okay, you know what this reminds me of, these matches? It reminds me of the Survivor Series where Gorilla Monsoon was just like, oh, we're going to have these random-ass freaking teams. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the one Rocky Maivia debuted.
Oh, 96 then.
96, yeah, because they had a bunch of, like, mismatched people,
Yeah. Oh, it's like, hey, giving him too much credit, but that would be a lot of fun to have someone from NXT jump and debut for SmackDown on that group.
Braun Breaker.
Hey, you know what? It's possible. But, I mean, I don't know. That's real wishful thinking on my part.
That
who
is.
Do you think the fifth
Samoa
man...
Joe.
Yeah. Who do you think the fifth man's going to be? It could be literally anyone. Leave your picks in the comment section below. But who do you think's going to win this one? I pick Raw just because. Who do you think's going to win?
SmackDown. Yeah,
okay, cool. Now the Survivor Series women's team, Raw versus SmackDown. From what I can tell, this seems to be a lot less flexible, a lot less fluid than what we've seen from the men's team.
There's a lot less of a roster.
Right. So for Team Raw right now, you have Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Zelina Vega, Queen Zelina. Why is Nikki ASH not in this thing? Versus Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Shotzi, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and then there's one spot to be determined on that one. So again...
the Nikki ASH, I can tell you just from storyline, they're trying to make her out like she's a loser. Even though she's half of the tag team champions, she's a loser. That's her storyline.
Why wouldn't you have the tag champions together in a team match? It makes no sense to me.
Dude, they broke up every women's tag... Is there even a women's tag team right now?
Can you even call Rhea and Nikki a tag team?
Right. They tag together, but they're not a tag team.
Yeah,
so they're like two singles that tag together. I don't know. It's just it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So I mean, with that in mind, who's your pick to win this one, Jay?
Okay. Well, you remember how we said at the beginning there was like a give a shit meter, and it was right here. Now it's even gone lower because I don't know. I don't care. Okay. I will say Raw.
Okay.
I'll say Raw.
I'm going to flip mine and say SmackDown because I said Raw for the men's, so SmackDown. For parity's sake, you got to have the women. You have the SmackDown win the other one. The women's champions do battle. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, SmackDown and Raw, respectively. This one, I think, is the most intriguing match on the card, but for all the wrong reasons. All the reasons WWE doesn't really want.
Right. Well, we're kind of in a situation right now where we don't know if there's real life heat or not.
Yeah, kind of blur those lines.
They really are. Yeah. But it's but it's making it interesting, I think, is what it's doing. To me, it seems kind of predictable that we were going to have these two face each other, you know, in my opinion. So they had to do something to make it better, and I think this real life heat, this dropping of the belt, maybe Charlotte's going to AEW, like, I don't know, it seems like all stuff that could be thrown in to make it more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. There's a lot of things where it's like, you know what I bet they're going to do? I bet they're going to have like this kind of work shoot moment in the match where it's like, no, you're supposed to do, I'm supposed to. It's basically what they did with like Charlotte and Nia Jax.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But it's going to feel like more real or something like that. I bet you they're going to try and play into that real life, the supposed real life heat and the conflict and something. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if like they found some way to like write Charlotte off after this and just maybe not get rid of her, but like
she's a champion still. It's not for both the belts, is it?
I know it's not, but do something where like plays into the fact that Charlotte's got heat with people and she's gonna go. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to lean into that a little bit here, but I mean they also just could do nothing. It's one of those two ways. It's either they go whole hog with something or they just say fuck it and don't touch it. So as far as who I think is gonna win this one, again, real big toss-up because I think you can make a case for either of them.
Yes.
You could also make a case for like, you know, Schmaz or something. But if I had to pick a winner, I would say Charlotte because you know what? She's rarely, if ever, gotten the win against Becky. And I think this would be something, it feeds into the Charlotte hate and the heat and everything. Oh, she's going to do something real sneaky to win this one. And so I think Becky has been the dominant person in their feud over the years. So I think maybe now's the time for Charlotte to get that win back. What do you think?
Dude, we're going to disagree again.
What?
Yeah, I think
crazy.
Yeah, I think it's honestly going to be Becky because she's got to be kept looking strong. She's the man. She's that top act, you know.
Big time Bex.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I feel like a loss would affect her more right now in her flow than it would for Charlotte Flair. That's just my opinion.
That's true, but I mean, Charlotte has this weird stigma where it's like she's the champion, but she also loses a lot, and it's weird, you know. Like that's
why it's because they're trying to get those reigns up. It's not weird.
Yeah, you know. That's why I think that Charlotte's going to end up winning this one, just because I think of the two of them, I think she needs it more. I think you can have her win in a way that keeps Becky strong or like cheated in such a way where it's like, you know, it wasn't a pure win. So that's a possibility. But I think, yeah, I'm going to stick with my pick of Charlotte as the winner here. And finally, you've got the WWE Champion Big E taking on the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And this is a match where it's also very interesting, very exciting. We've seen them wrestle one-on-one in the past.
Yes.
They gave that away over the summer, but now it's back here on pay-per-view.
And it had Bobby Lashley in it, too.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for this one. These two are going to deliver. It's going to be a tremendous match. But I think the hardest thing is always trying to pick who's the winner going to be. You know, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Big E pulls up the shocking win. Because like something the bloodline
doesn't matter, the belt doesn't get lost.
Belts don't change hands. I predict something where the bloodline's going to fuck up, or Heyman's going to do something to cost Roman the match or something.
Maybe Lesnar's music hits, he comes out or something. You know,
honestly, I think very interesting where you could go with the Roman Reigns Paul Heyman dynamic right now. I think that could play into this storyline here with Big E and Roman. I think Big E really needs the win to really put the oomph and solidify his run there. I'm not saying he'll be ruined if he doesn't, but I think Drew McIntyre I think lost a lot of steam when he lost to Roman in Survivor Series last year.
But that's coming back. That's a feud I believe that's happening next, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, so I think honestly it's going to be kind of an upset that Big E wins this one. That's my pick. What do you think?
Dude, we're going to agree.
Whoa, hey,
yeah, we are.
Came around to at the very end to finally have an agreement. But why do you think Big E's going to win? What's your...
Well, I think it has a lot to do with what you were saying about, like, he does need that big win, you know, because, yeah, he hasn't, honestly, I mean, like I said, this match has happened before, but it included Bobby Lashley, which made the match more intriguing to me. So now we're having this less intriguing match on a pay-per-view, which can we even call it pay-per-view anymore?
A Peacock presentation.
Yes, exactly. Just a super show of some sort.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, yeah, he does need the victory more than him, and the belt doesn't change hands. You don't take, the reign doesn't change for Roman. Yeah, it's a safe way for them. And to be honest with you, I think it would just be better overall for business for E to get that victory.
Yeah.
Going forward right now.
And Roman he's not lost once, I don't think, since he's come back. So I think, if you're gonna have anything big on this show, have it Roman losing. Have it Roman get that first loss. So that's I'm losing my voice here, but that's where I stand on that. But those are just our humble picks, folks. What do you think's gonna happen in Survivor Series? Do you care at all? Let's find out in the comment section together and see just how much or how little we care about this show. But we're gonna come back either way. when it's all said and done, because, hey, this is part of our job. We're going to do this, and we're going to cover Survivor Series for you, and that's going to happen on Sunday night, or it might come out Monday morning at the absolute latest. But until then, for Jay Biggs, I'm Brian Zane, and we'll see you next time.